Hello. It says I'm live. Hello. Tick, 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 tick. Hello, hello. Make sure this is all working. See, mute, unmute. Okay. I think, yeah, it seems to be working. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, well, I say crack open a drink. Let's get into some theory. I reckon that's what physicists say. All right, guys, we've got nothing substantial, nothing real in our hands. All we've got is theories. Crack open a drink. Let's get into some theory. That's a physicist, I reckon. Okay. No, they do have substantial stuff. I'm just messing. It's all good. Anyway, so we're talking Oak Island. Now, hello, question mark. I look, put it this way. I have a guilty pleasure in Oak Island, the curse of Oak Island. Okay. I want to see Rick and Marty and the boys and all that. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them find what's there. I think the vast majority of people would love to see some buried treasure or something. Like, I think when it comes down to it, I think given the opportunity to see what's there. Oh, thank you for subbing. Anyway, the vast majority of people want to see what's on that island. Now, I have a few theories of my own, which is what we're going to discuss. And obviously, we can discuss the other theories that have been brought up. I think a lot of them are a bit. I don't know where they get their information from and why there's so many differing theories. But I've always believed in just following the evidence, being a detective, just following the evidence. Don't interpret shit. Just go, what is the evidence telling us? That's what it is. Okay? Don't have to make shit up. Just have to see what it is. That's all. And whatever comes about, that's the truth. So my first theory, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so Nova Scotia isn't that far from, what do you call it? It's not that far from America. Now, they found a lot of engineering works between 1600s and 1785. I think that was sort of the time frame that they seem to more or less get a lot of information. Like every artifact they find seems to indicate that that's the time they find things. That's at least that's what the evidence is saying. So what was really big back in the 1600s and 1700s, like huge, was like one of the most popular things the English did, or at least started, and then it got out of control. And that would be piracy. Okay, piracy was at its maximum in between 1600s and the 1785. I think we can all agree that that's pretty accurate. Like, I think that's a fair assessment. Nobody's going to turn around and go, oh yeah, that's not true, because I think we can all agree that that's fine. So I would say there's some interesting facts about what the McGuinness story said. Okay, so Daniel McGuinness, the original finder of Oak Island, said that there was a green light or something that drew him. Maybe it was moonlight hitting something and reflecting into the air. I don't know. I'm not a geologist. Your channel is very downrated. You need more subs, man. Very nostalgic. Oh, thanks, man. I'm not really worried too much about subs myself. Like, if people want to watch what I put out there, that's fine. I mean, I'm just putting things out there that I'm interested in, and I guess I'm maybe find some like-minded people. So, I mean, if there's people out there, that's all good. I'm happy for people to watch or not watch. Anyway, back to the story. So Daniel McGuinness, he found he must have lived close by, He's seen this island. He's seen the green light. It's drawn him to it. Okay, what's there? Finds this tree or something like that, and then starts digging around it and finds a shaft. And this is the fabled treasure shaft. Okay, so that's what we know. Don't know if we could say that that's absolute fact, because a lot of the McGuinness stuff, not even the McGuinness family has it. All right, so, this fabled rock that they found that has an inscription doesn't even exist anymore. It a lot of the information that's out there just is not there. Okay, so unfortunately, we can't really see it for ourselves and go, oh, that's this particular people were using that particular language at that time, or there was something about this that we can link to something else, and then that gives us a picture. Unfortunately, there's nothing like that. What we do know back then is between the Americas and Jamaica, and possibly all up the coast of America, to the French colonies and what have you, is there was piracy. And what I think Oak Island could have been is, if you are a ship back in the 1600s, well, not a ship, Percy cannot be a ship. This isn't the live ships. that's a book reference. Anyway, a person cannot be a ship, right? So, so what I'm saying is, if you've seen this moonlight or whatever hit this particular island and a green light pops up, and you're like, oh, that's a location over there, I'm going to go investigate. I think what you might find Oak Island actually would have been a fortification or a hidden island for pirates. Right? That's what I think, because that was what was existing at that time, and that's what was and that what they found on the island suggests that there was shipping and docking, that there was stonemasonry, that there was blacksmithing, that there was clay making. Obviously, there was oak trees, so that was probably planted there. And also there was fortifications on the island. This is what they have found. This is what they've actually found. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if, I think that the trouble that I have believing that the English purposely, or the Spanish, or the Dutch, or the French, or any of the people that I think they were the four major players that could circumnavigate the globe at the time. I can't see them having a specific interest in a particular island like that. It's not a big island. Oak Island is only 140 acres. 140 acres it's not small, but it's also it's not big either. It's not something you would go, I'm really going to go out of my way to go to a 140 acre island. All right. It's just not big enough to do that. It's like, it would have to be a big landmark that you go, I'm going there. That's my fortification. Like, it would have to be a very big island that you could put livestock on, and like chickens and sheep or whatever, that isn't going to destroy that natural land. And basically, it's close enough to the shore that you could say that if it was a pirate nest, if that's what it was, it would make sense, because pirates would have developed, they would have used small islands, and they would have used a lot of little different places that they could map out and go and hide when they had, after doing a raid, so they didn't get caught. Okay, so that's why I'm thinking the pirate thing fits. And one of the big players back then, actually one of the biggest players of all piracy, based his operations out of America, out of Charleston. That was Blackbeard himself. Did Blackbeard travel that far up the coast? I don't know. Did any of his ships? He had up to 700 crew, or on about, I don't know how many ships. I think it was about 3 or 4 or something, or more. And he had a lot of ships and a lot of crew. And I mean, could they have possibly used Oak Island as a fortification point? I think it's possible. I don't see why anyone should rule that out. I think that at least puts people there in the time frame that were there, and also it might make a bit of sense as to why anyone would use Oak Island at all. I mean, Oak Island isn't exactly like, you wouldn't look at it and go, oh, that's definitely, I want to go there. Like it would be one of those things that unless you were like, oh, really, I think that would be a good point to hide or something. I think I've sold that point well enough. I think that at least puts ideas in people's head. The other thing I would like to see the boys do, and I'm really surprised they never have through all the seasons that they've done, is that they've never gone to the diary, not the diary, sorry, the different, asked for the catalogues of the shipping, the ship logs of the different ships, of the different of the shipping from back then, for the French, for the English, for the Dutch, for the Spanish, and see what routes, at least start with what routes they took. Like basically go, okay, let's see what routes these particular ships followed. That puts a ship in the area at least. That'll if Oak Island has anything to do with a nation, then that's where you would start. That's where you would find your first piece. That's where you'd find your first clue. Who was going there? Why were they going there? That puts a who there, and that puts a what would be transported through there. Food, money, trade, like spices. I don't know whatever was going back then. I guess it's hard to say specifically. It's hard to say specifically what was the most likely candidate. I guess, in my opinion, Nova Scotia is between, for me, it would be the French or the English. I don't think the Spanish travelled up there. I know the Atlantic current takes things that way, so possibly they did unintentionally go up that way, but I don't think so. The South, as far as I remember, the Spanish focused a lot on the South Americas. They didn't go up north. That was solely the English between America and Britain, and I think there was French colonies as well there, and that was the French. So that puts, I mean, as far as countries go, that would be your first point of call. And also finding out why were people even traveling out there in the first place. I mean, again, it's a long journey from, but let's say they are Europeans going there. That is a long voyage. That's on an old sailing vessel. That would be 3 or 4 years of your life. You don't go 3 or 4 years out to some island in the middle of nowhere for nothing. That is pointless. Nobody would do that. The other interesting thing that I've spoken to from people who live in Canada and they've raised great points is there is likely no treasure on Oak Island, and possibly that is 100% true. But I'd still like to know why it was important, why there was all that stuff, and why people were interested in finding what was down there. That's a sort of story in itself that's worth telling. But as far as what they made a good point. Who buries treasure? Nobody buries treasure. Not realistically. Why would you? Why would you bury anything that you possibly could spend later? I mean, if you're a pirate, if you're a nation, if you're anyone, even if you're just some guy or just some sailor, you're not going to bury nothing on some random island. Even if you've got some glowing light that says, hey, this is where your treasure is, you're never going to bury anything there. The interesting thing about Oak Island is it seems to have significant engineering works on the island. Significant in what I say significant because there is clearly human activity. The island's been split and there was a wharf or like a stone pathway thing. That's significant. That means that somebody spent years out there developing this island. For what purposes? No. There was that fortification set up on the beachhead. That's going to take months to set that up. even if all the wood and everything's there, you can't just knock down a bunch of trees and build a bunch of fortifications out of nothing. It takes a lot of people and effort, and especially with they wouldn't have had a lot of. I suppose they found ox shoes on there, so I guess they must have had oxes on the island. But I mean, that's a lot of wood and logs you got to drag around. So that's something interesting, and there's some. I guess there's religious significance there. The Nolan's Cross thing, that's too small. You can't ignore that. The fact that the Eye of the Swamp fits with a bunch of other stuff. I mean, why somebody did that, what that's alluding to, no idea. Whether or not somebody just decided that maybe they had a lot of religious influences in their life, and it meant something to put a cross out there, maybe to spread Christianity or something. I don't know. Does that mean that the church would have any records of it? Possibly. I mean, that's a possibility as well. I don't know which particular church. I think people have alluded to the Templars. I don't know. I think the Templars were too early for that. So I was talking to another fan, and we were sort of hinting that we thought that maybe the stonemasons had something to do with that, because the stonemasons basically have a lot of Templar links. So they basically amalgamated into the Templars. They went from, not the Templars, the stonemasons. They basically went from being, as far as I understand it. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, please. But my impression is that the Templars were through their Holy Crusade. When it was over, they wanted to hide stuff from the church and other things. They were about protecting religious artifacts, and like the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant, etc. They were all about protecting these sacred items, and so they went out of their way to basically do that. And what do you need to do that? You need to come up with a way. Now, I think also stonemasons are known for hiding all their things in plain sight. Okay, a lot of their things that exist, a lot of their churches that are still standing, everything is hidden in plain sight. You can get to anything and take it if you know, like, quickly, and move it quickly if you know what you're looking for and where to get it. So that's an interesting thing about the Templars. The way that they hid their stuff, everything was never hidden away in some back cave where nobody could see it and nobody could protect it. And that would look very strange for people to basically be always going to some dark alley or something to protect, say, the Ark of the Covenant. That would be very strange, because people would go, those important knight fellas over there are going over there all the time and there's nothing there. There's no reason for them to do that. So there's something up with that place. So that's why you always hide things in plain sight. So whatever is... So, I mean, as far as any religious significance goes, if they did hide anything on Oak Island, it is hidden in plain sight. Simple. They deliberately would have hid things in plain sight. The Templars had traps, I've heard. Yeah, I think so. The Templars were very protective of their religious artifacts, and they would go to great lengths to make sure that they were protected. And I guess that would fit with this trap on Oak Island, with the flood tunnels. That would fit with Templar mentality. Again, I don't know why the Templars would do all of this. It does make you wonder if it really was the Templars and they really put something 200 feet below the earth in a cavern. I'm guessing that's what it is, because I think they've done sonar scans and everything, and that's what they've found down there. But I don't know why they haven't just dug straight down into the cavern and stuck a camera down there. That would just be like the obvious thing to do. Just drop some flares or lights or something, or I don't know, just something that gives you illumination down there, or even some glow sticks. or even a night vision camera that's with the light on it, or I don't know. All right, technology has come a long way, and the way that we use it is up to your imagination. Anyway, that's basically the templates, and yeah. So I don't know why the boys have never done that. That would be an obvious choice to me. So yeah. So as far as nations go, I would be checking their ship's logs. That's the only way people are getting there. The only reason people would be getting there, and I'd be checking basically which way they're going, why they're going that way, and even if they mention Oak Island, they might even mention the island itself, and then that won't go. Okay, so we've got people that puts them in the island at the time for this. That's what we know. I think there was some. Now, I'm not really sold on some of the other. I'm really not sold on the what was the Shakespeare plot? The Shakespeare. It's so sad you don't have a lot of people to talk to. Oh, that's okay, man. I'm not worried about that. I'm happy doing my thing in the world. That's all. Like the world's a big place. If people like interested in what we talk about, that's all good. So, anyway, so the Shakespeare. Getting back on topic, the Shakespeare. So that the theory was that Shakespeare had hidden manuscripts on or Shakespeare fans. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were a girl. I'm sorry. Nice. I didn't know girls watched my channel, so that's my fault. So my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway. Thanks. Yeah. So I just don't see why Shakespeare would hide manuscripts on the island. I mean, the guy was rich, so why would you go to such lengths? I mean, put it this way, I think everyone knows Shakespeare's writing anyway. It wasn't heresy to read it. In fact, I think there was a Blackadder joke where Blackadder punches Shakespeare in the face and says, "That's for all the little boys and girls for the next 400 years." And I think that goes without saying that hiding anything of Shakespeare's would have been pointless. People knew his stuff. There was no reason to hide his writings. I just don't. The Francis Bacon, I think that goes with the Shakespeare thing. Now, I don't know anything about Francis Bacon myself, so I can't say anything about him. I don't know his history. I don't know why he's linked to the island. I know that one of the presidents of America is linked to the island. He was linked to, I don't know if he was linked to treasure hunting or stonemasonry, but there was a link there that's interesting, which means that the Americans have had some dealings with that island. And again, that brings me back to the piracy. I mean, you had during that time between when they've said is you had Blackbeard, you had Anne Bonny and Calico Jack running around at that time. You had Benjamin Hornigan. You had all the big names and all the big players, and they were all in that area. I don't know specifically if they were in that specific area and if they took a liking to that particular trade, but it at least puts people in a location. And I think because you can't go, even if you a pirate ship or a national or anything like that, basically you can't actually go too far without food and water. So whoever was up there lived up there. That would be my assumption, that they lived around that area and they had a lot of interactions with this island. And that's why I think it's a fort, because it makes more sense to be a place of protection. Like, okay, if the English come after us, we've got these defenses, we can fight back. You know, that makes sense. Now, does that mean there's a treasure vault? I don't know. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, if you didn't want if you hated the rich merchants and you didn't ever want them to get their treasure again, if they killed you, I guess you might bury it. But personally, if I was a pirate and I had all that treasure, I would be spending it on all the booty, on all the booze, and all the debauchery that money can buy. Like, that's what I would be doing. Like, and I think most men would be the same. Like, I don't think, especially back then, what else would you be doing? There's nothing else to do back then. So, yeah. Now, I'm trying to think if there was any other. Oh, that's right. The other thing I'll quickly go through, and then we'll end the stream because I don't want to go for too long, otherwise it get boring. The last thing I would say is I'm very surprised that the boys have not used their giant excavators to just dig up the entire money pit area. Literally stop using those cans and just go, you know what? We're going to find out what's down there. Easy way to do it is we're not going to shotgun approach this anymore. We're not going to try and guess anymore. We're just going to methodically dig a giant, great big hole in the ground. It'll probably annoy the council or the government, but it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, especially if you found something like Blackbeard's treasure. Could you imagine? I don't think the Nova Scotian government would be at all bothered. They'd be like, we just got a big historic find. Here is this treasure. We can put this in a museum around the world and we'll make money off it. People will come and want to see this. Like, this is big. This is like as big as like historic finds get. Like, as almost as big as finding like Spanish doubloons in a sunken galley or something, like something that's. Are you going to do more streams? Just yeah, I can. I most of the time I don't really, because streams go for a while, so I don't tend to. I don't like making them too short, but I don't like making them too long either. But at the same time, yeah, I as far as streaming, I don't mind doing streams. I'm happy to do streams. I just don't always have that many ideas. That's it. So that's why I don't do many streams. I just don't want to just do a video on nothing, like a half an hour video on me just rambling nonsense. Because I mean, people have heard that all before. I mean, I think stream my daily life. Oh, I'm boring. I am really boring. I go to work and then go home, and I'm a bit of a hermit, so I don't really go out much. So I don't. There wouldn't be much to tell. I'm just trying to save. I'm building a house at the moment, so I don't actually play that many games. I've been actually just. I like building stuff, so I mean, if I do anything, it's if I get time, I like. One of the things I always wanted to do is learn how to paint, so I want to practice that. I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar properly. I've been fixing a small engine in the shed, which actually got it working the other day, which was really good because that was found in a puddle of water, totally wrecked. It was unusable, no compression, nothing. It was absolutely cactus. And the fact that it's working at all just says that there was you can doesn't matter how much people give up on something, you can save it. It didn't even take that much money to do it. Yeah, what I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to get back into writing because I've written a book before and I have a book idea up here and I don't want the words jumbling around in my head, etc. I actually want to put it on paper. And like, it's sort of like, I need to just sit down and do it. That's basically it. And I'm a slacker at times. Like if I'm not getting paid to do it, I tend to go, whatever. But so, yeah, but I really do enjoy writing. So that's one thing I'd like to do, but I always talk about it, but I'm not doing it. So I suppose and I don't know if anyone really want to see that kind of streaming process. That'd just be boring for most people. They just see me sitting there talking to myself and typing away. That's it. That's about it, really. So, yeah, I'm not a very outgoing person. I'm sorry. I guess I'm what you would call an introvert. But oh well. I have personally, when I first started YouTube really got me out of my shell a lot, and it boosted my confidence talking to people and how to talk to people and things like that. And it helped me in ways that most people wouldn't really think about. You take for granted. So I know some people might say what I put out there is rubbish and I shouldn't do it. Okay, that's fine. But I'm not worried. As far as any of it goes, I've taken my own positives away from it, and I think that in itself is how you got to look at life sometimes. Roblox has 100 of games in one app. Okay, I don't know what Roblox is, but I can have a look at it later if I get time. But I'm not really a big gamer, sorry to say, people. One day I hope to set up I was thinking of doing a sim rig for car racing, like a proper, like one like Jimmy Broadbent's got. That would be pretty sweet. But I mean, that's an expensive setup he's got. I mean, it's like, for where I live, I think it'd be like $10,000 or something like that to set that up. But as far as like, I've always thought of doing a car project, but the trouble with a car project is you have to, once you've built the car, most times you sell it, and it's only sold to niche market people. So then I thought of doing heavy machinery as a project, like building a piece of heavy machinery and selling it to something, because you can make a bit of money, or using the heavy machinery on the side to make money, like take it out on weekends and do earthworks or what have you for people. Or but again, all this stuff costs a lot of money, and I don't know if I'd see a lot of benefit from it. So that's why I was thinking of a sim rig, because it's, at least it puts different ideas out there, because I guess I could set up a sim rig and drive any car I want from around the world. Like if I wanted to drive a Ferrari, I could drive a Ferrari. If I wanted to drive a NASCAR, no problem. Anything, doesn't matter, because it's all on a computer, and all the they're not perfect, but they're reasonably good these days. And maybe in 5-10 years time they'll be even better. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. I've waffled on for I'd love to see you paint a horse on the next stream, or an animal in general. I could try. Yeah, I could do that. I'm very bad at painting. I could draw, but I've never tried actual painting. And I see a lot of like artwork out there where people do these oil paintings of like scenery and things like that. And I think it would be so good to be able to paint like that in real life, like, and really enjoy, like take a photo or go somewhere and paint what you see. I mean, that just look like, and if it looks like what you're painting, like, looks like, then you can turn around and say, yeah, it's good. So yeah, that's what I'd like to do. So I could look at doing that in the future. Yeah, that's no problem. I can't say I'll be very good at it. A horse, you say? Well, I could try painting a horse. I'll probably give it to my mum. She likes horses. Yeah, and draw. It's easier. I recommend you use a referenced photo. Yeah, I might do that. Yeah, I might do that. That would probably be the way to do it, to at least get the work on the brush strokes and the coloring and everything. At least if I had something to reference where to put the colors, then yeah, it'd probably work out a bit better. No worries. Well, I think that covers this stream anyway. I think you all should have a lovely day, and see you on the next video. Okay, peace out.